Hi, I'm Nick Maselli. At TD Bank, we believe all citizens need to be informed about the important financial issues that affect their daily lives. That's why we're proud to support programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Virtua, NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, New Jersey Natural Gas, proud to support education in our communities, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, TD Bank, and by the New Jersey Education Association, working for great public schools for every child. Promotional support provided by the Star Ledger, powering NJ.com, and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association and its monthly magazine, New Jersey Business.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato, coming to you from the Tisch WNET studio right here in the heart of New York City, in Lincoln Center. Read this book a while back. I wasn't the only one. It's called Double Down, Game Change, 2012. Mark Halperin is one of the co-authors, and he is with us today. We're pleased. He is a co-author of this book and also editor-at-large at Time Magazine. You also can check him out with an interesting crowd at Morning Joe on MSNBC every morning. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. First time I've been in this studio, which is just a few blocks from my house, so it feels local and good.
Yeah, local and good. That's a great slogan. Hey, we're local and good. Yeah. And we're public television. We're happy to have you with us. Interesting, when I was reading this book, I was just saying to you before we get on the air, people say, oh, that was the 2012 election. We're on to 2016. But I said to you that there's so much in this book that sets the groundwork, if you will, or lays the groundwork for 2016. I'm just going to jump into some players and give me some reaction. The fact that Romney is talked about in the way he is here, and the fact that Romney's still in play and talked about, and then there was a documentary that said, hey, he's a much more likable guy than he was in the campaign. Do you say to yourself that a lot of us missed that he was apparently more human than some other folks thought?
Well, one of the things we're proudest about at the book is to bring people to life, including people like Mitt Romney, who is caricatured. But if you spend time behind the scenes talking to the key players involved, you do get a more textured portrait. That documentary maker had extraordinary access. One of the things John Hamm and I were so happy when we saw the documentary was we think our portrait matches that pretty well. We weren't allowed behind the scenes quite the same way as that documentary maker, but he is a more nuanced guy, funnier, more interesting. Mitt Romney, everyone I meet who's met him, with few exceptions, has a higher opinion of him than people who've just seen him on TV. He wasn't able to translate that. And part of what we write about in the book is how do you, if your family likes you, if your coworkers like you, if you're a likable person in your real life, what are the challenges of translating that on TV, which is the way most voters are going to see it? He wasn't able to do it.
There's a pretty big section, a couple sections in the book that talk about a player that's not just interesting in this metropolitan area where we are seen in multiple states, but also across the country, and you know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Who interacted with Mitt Romney in a fascinating fashion, one-on-one.
Yeah.
Chris Christie. Take the whole other situation out of play and just deal with this.
What I call traffic issues.
Those little traffic issues. Chris Christie, Mitt Romney in a room, 2012, negotiating as to what it would be like between the two of them if, in fact, Romney were to get Chris Christie's endorsement, if Chris Christie were not going to run. Describe that scene.
You picked a great scene for illuminating the personality of this guy. That scene and a few others in the book, if you read the book when this bridge thing happened, no surprise, right? Because so much of what Chris Christie is like is on full display in the context of the last presidential campaign, even though he didn't run. This is a moment where he's decided at that point he doesn't want to run. He wants to be the kingmaker. Mitt Romney comes to see him. They have a dinner at the governor's residence.
Drumthwacket.
Best named governor's residence in America. And they have a big meeting where Romney makes the pitch to Christie and about a dozen or so of his supporters about why they should endorse him. And then Christie and Romney go in a back room and have a private meeting. And Christie makes an extraordinary demand. Never in all my years of reporting have I heard of anyone that's making this demand. He says to Romney, not ready to endorse you now, and until I do, you can't raise money in New Jersey. Romney had supporters in New Jersey from the last campaign, knew a lot of people. It's obviously a huge state for fundraising. But Christie's posture was, until I endorse, no one of significance is going to give money to any Republican in this race because we're all going to go together. Don't raise money in my state. Romney was taken aback. For him, it was like something out of The Sopranos. A guy takes him in the back room.
Oh, come on. He was in New Jersey.
Exactly. Takes him in the back room and says, don't raise money in my state. One of Romney's aides pointed out that Christie had come to Boston and raised money in Massachusetts. But Chris Christie, general way of operating is, what's mine is mine, and what yours is, we'll negotiate.
Romney says?
Romney left without committing, but his campaign manager, a guy named Matt Rhodes, who had ties to the Christie camp, said, you know what? We're going to do what Christie says. There'll be plenty of time to raise money in New Jersey.
Right.
We want this endorsement. That is part of the key to understanding Chris Christie. He makes an audacious, unusual, to say the least, demand and gets his way.
Well, again, it's a big leap, some might argue, to explain everything that has gone on. And that is why, as we do this program moving into the spring of 2014, we'll allow the investigation to move forward.
Sure.
But your point is well taken.
And again, I don't even mean this as criticism. I just mean it as factual storytelling about who this guy is. It's a style, but also a way of operating. It's not just people talk about a culture and a style. It's what Christie has done successfully, and it's led to a lot of his success because he's been aggressive and he's been audacious in dealing with other politicians.
Barack Obama, 2012. Barack Obama, 2014. Biggest difference?
That he's gone through a re-election, which was a huge accomplishment under the circumstances, but he's had, in the interval, the worst year of his presidency, 2013, where nothing got done. And he's now at a real tipping point where either something dramatic is going to happen, where he can get a situation where things will be productive for the balance of his term, or 2014 is a repeat of 2013. We've seen some accomplishments this year on the budget and a few deals, but the big things the president wants to do, climate change, immigration, tax reform, more on education and worker training. To get any of that done, he's going to have to go back to the pre-2012 Obama, who, again, was all about politics and getting reelected. His theory of the case was, I'll get reelected, it'll unstick everything. That hasn't happened.
But in the book, Obama, 2012, tremendous insecurity as to whether he was going to win this race.
Yeah.
And the Chicago stuff, let folks in on the whole Chicago thing. The Chicago, like, there was a Chicago group. Yeah. They're always meeting.
Yeah. He shows in this book, there's a portrait of him that people have rarely seen, of a guy who is normally the most self-assured, the most confident.
Yes.
In this case, both in the fall of 2011 and then on the eve of the second presidential debate, had real doubts about whether he could do what he needed to do.
P.S. Why was he so bad in that first debate? You talk about that a lot in the book. Yeah. So bad in that first debate. So off his game.
Yeah, well, not a great debater, despite his image as a great speaker.
But worse than even that.
Yeah, he was psyched out because they told him in the first meeting they had with him to prepare for the debates, they said, the incumbent never wins the first debate. The challenger has every advantage. Romney's been debating in the nomination fight. The expectations are lower. Just standing on the stage with the incumbent helps. And Romney was great. That played a huge role, but the president was horrible because their game plan was, they said, we don't want waves in this debate. They gave him a basketball metaphor. They said, you're Paul Westphal, great shooting guard from the Phoenix Suns.
And Obama loves basketball.
Exactly. So they thought, give him a metaphor he can appreciate. Westphal, great shooter, put points on the board, didn't play much defense. But their view was, you'll score 140, Romney will score 120, you'll win the debate. He went in there psyched out because when Romney said stuff that Obama objected to, he didn't know how to handle it. And his other big problem is, he's a law professor. He likes to speak in paragraphs. He likes to win the argument. They kept telling him in preparation, that's not how a debate works. Lead with the conclusion, and then if you want to say some other stuff, fine. He never solved that in the first debate, and it messed with his head. The result was a moment of crisis for him, which, as bad as the first debate was, as we report in the book for the first time, on the eve of the second debate, he had a kind of system breakdown where his aides thought he could blow the second debate and put the White House in peril.
I talked about in the beginning of this conversation, Mark, that 2012 teaches us a lot about potentially 2016, but a name that does not go away, 2012, 2008, And before that, and now 2016 is Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
So, but she's part of the book too, as is Bill.
Yeah, Bill's a huge part of the book. President Clinton, as everybody knows, worked hard to get President Obama reelected. But the story we tell in the book of how that came to be, how they went from pretty much at odds in 2008 to not very connected in 2009 and 2010 to working together in 2011 and
Needed
12.
each other?
They needed each other. It was a marriage of convenience. Our first book, Game Change, was about what we say the political love story between Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. This book's about the political love story between Barack Obama and Bill Clinton.
Do they love each other?
Marriage of convenience. They appreciate each other. There's a genuine closeness near that. You
A
see
genuine closeness?
You see it at the end of the campaign. There is a genuine closeness, in part because of the President's Club and the
Okay.
appreciation that there's only a few people who've ever held that responsibility, but also because they learned to appreciate what each was doing, what each was getting out of it. Bill Clinton got to be back on the national stage. You know, he ran for re-election in '96. In 2000, Gore didn't want him out there. In 2004, John Kerry wanted him, but he was sick. He'd had his surgery. 2008, Obama didn't want him out there. So President Obama gave President Clinton his first opportunity since 1996 to be a general election performer. Clinton loved it. We write in the book about how much he took to that opportunity. Obama got the validator in chief, the explainer in chief, the ability of Bill Clinton at the convention, out on the stump, endorsing Obama for re-election. Huge.
I can't let you out of here. Guys, I know you're saying we have, I'm going to go a couple minutes, so just, I hear you. 2016, I have to let you do this.
Yeah.
I need you to do this. Some names. Rand Paul, 30 seconds.
Very impressive. People in the Northeast, I think, underestimate how good a campaigner he is, how smart he is, and how much a lot of people in the establishment are looking at his appeal to young people and the libertarian wing of the party and saying, maybe he's not our nominee, but he should be a big voice in this contest.
Hillary Clinton.
She is like an incumbent in terms of her appeal to the party, her broad institutional support. I keep saying I'm not sure she's going to run. People tell me I look like an idiot because, of course, she's going to. If she runs, she's the colossus, not only in the Democratic field, but in the whole race.
Age matter at all?
I don't think it does for her because I think people see her as a hard worker. I think it matters in her deliberation. That's one of the reasons I think she might take a pass on the race. But I think voters in other countries look to older people. She can be that old. She's got to make the election about the future. That's the trick.
It's interesting. I'm going to ask the same question. If she does not, Joe Biden, age matter?
I think it matters more for him, even though he's a very vigorous guy.
Looks great, takes care of himself.
If she doesn't run, the story instantly becomes, is Joe Biden a formidable frontrunner as an incumbent vice president, or is he back in the heap with 10 other people who would get in the race to see this as the opportunity of a lifetime, or to take on basically a truly open seat?
Could you see Jeb Bush jumping into this?
I think if Jeb Bush runs, he and Hillary Clinton will be the nominees. It will be one of the best presidential contests we have, a substantive debate. Hey, at a time when the country's looking for fundamental change, what says change more than a Clinton-Bush general election? He is an impressive guy. The thing I said about Romney before is even more true of Jeb. Meet any Democrat who met Jeb Bush and spent time with him, and they will tell you they like him, they respect him, and they'd be fine with him as president. They might even support him. That, in this polarized age, is pretty remarkable, and it's even more remarkable given that the guy's name is Bush.
Good stuff. Hey, listen, folks, you want to learn more about presidential campaigns and politics and think more about 2016 and what could happen, read Double Down, Game Change 2012, Mark Halperin and your colleague John Heilman?
Heilman, New York Magazine.
New York Magazine. Good stuff. Read it. And I enjoyed it from cover to cover. And it's just good stuff. And I very much appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
Would you say we're good and local?
Good and local.
I don't know if we could sell our president, Neil Shapiro, on that, but we'll try. Good and local. Public television. We'll be back right after this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
If you would like more information on this program, or if you'd like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Visit us online at oneonone.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
We are joined by the great Paul Taylor, who heads up the Paul Taylor Dance Company. They are celebrating their 60th anniversary. He's been doing it since 1954. He has created 139 dances. They are celebrating. The Paul Taylor Dance Company is right here in Lincoln Center, and you honor us by your presence, and thank you for gracing us.
Thank you.
I have to ask you, in 1954, when you decided to become a dancer, at the time you were a swimmer.
Yeah.
What caused you to make the change?
Well, I also had a job in college sweeping the library steps. And when I'd done that, I go in and I found some dance books, and I didn't know anything about it, so I got interested in dance through reading about it. And the more I read, I thought, hey, that's better than swimming.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Well, what did you love about it? Just looking at a book?
The movement, of course, to move. I love to move and move around. And water was nice, but this other thing seemed even better. So I left college before I graduated, and I was able to enroll in Juilliard, and went from there.
You know, it's interesting, great performances. Bob Morris, our great director, reminded me. Bob, was it last year that Great Performances did a special on you and your dance company, and great PBS series, and they recognized your work.
Yeah.
What's that like?
What?
What is it like to be recognized by Great Performances and have that special?
Oh, very nice. Good publicity, you know.
Yeah, I'd say
Sell
so.
tickets. Great, yeah.
How important is it for you to keep selling tickets?
Very important. It's an expensive proposition. Dance companies don't usually make money. They lose it. So you have to do a lot of fundraising.
Still?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't tell me that, because I thought I was going to have to not keep raising money after this.
No, we're all in the same boat. It's getting worse and worse. The foundations withdrawing, and more we're counting on private individuals.
Yeah. So it's interesting. The thing you love is dance, but what you're noted for is breaking a lot of rules.
Yeah.
And making some people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, can I remind you of a couple things?
Sure.
It is said that a lot of the themes of your dance are about love and sexuality, life and death.
Yeah.
And you also, at some point, did some dance that related to incest.
Yes, yes.
What are you doing in dances about things that make people uncomfortable?
I'm reporting.
Explain.
Reporting what I see around me, what I know, what I read about, watching people, learning about other people's lives.
But how do you take that, those feelings, those emotions, those observations, the things you say you're reporting on, and turn it into dance?
Well, you watch the motions of whatever it is you're reporting on, and you try to exaggerate them for the theater so that they'll read from the audience point of view.
How much do you love teaching?
Oh, I don't teach.
When you're choreographing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't teach. I used to teach dance, technique classes, but I stopped years ago. I let other people do that for me.
What's the difference between being a choreographer and a teacher?
Oh, quite a bit. Teachers are not creating what they teach. They're just, dealing with the student and trying to get them to do what they think they should. But a choreographer is not a teacher.
It's interesting, but you create what it is you want to have seen, and then you want to see it executed.
Yeah, well, you have to help the dancer learn the steps and the gestures, sure.
Well, let me
that is a bit of teaching there.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling you teach every day. For 60 years you've been doing that and motivating and inspiring as a great choreographer. The Paul Taylor Dance Company is celebrating 60 years right here in Lincoln Center, and we wish you nothing but the best. And there must be a typo here because it says you're you're 83, and there must be 73, but it says you're 83.
Thank you so much.
Well, I thank you so much. You honor us by being here. Wish you all the best. Stay right there. Stay right there. What are you going off and to choreograph
right
something?
down the block.
Will you give us a chance and go choreograph in 30 seconds? I have to say goodbye, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thanks so much. We'll be right back from Lincoln Center, where people like Paul Taylor are running the show. We'll be right back right after this. You're going to choreograph, aren't you?
If you would like more information on this program, or if you'd like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Visit us online at oneonone.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
When you work as a fashion publicist, every day has to be a fashion moment. Especially when you work for one of the best fashion designers in the world. Donna Karan.
I'm ready.
As a PR girl, it's my job to produce the runway shows, dress celebrities, and get press on our fabulous clothing and accessories. There's just one problem.
Hi, my name's Aliza Licht, and I am addicted to Twitter. I'm not ashamed. And now I'm addicted to Tumblr as well.
But luckily for me, social media skills are a job requirement, especially during Fashion Week.
Look at this. There's Aliza Licht. She is addicted to Twitter and apparently now Tumblr.
And Instagram now, too.
Yeah, all right, will you let me introduce you?
Fine.
All right, she's the SVP Global Communications person for Donna Karan International. Not a bad gig. And the DKNY PR girl. You're loving your life.
I love my job. It's a good gig.
Explain the gig.
I've been with Donna Karan since '98. I started when I was like 10.
Clearly.
I did traditional PR. I mean, you know, communications. And it was fashion shows. It was working with magazine editors. It was celebrity dressing. And then in 2009, we decided to start in social media. So I decided to take on Twitter specifically. That was really my baby. And started tweeting. Had no idea what I was doing, literally. And became addicted and loved it.
What does it mean to be addicted?
It means that I love the constant real-time global interaction. I can put out a question no matter what time of the day, wake up in the middle of the night, not be able to sleep and say, I can't sleep. Is anyone else out there? And there's just like hundreds of people who are either starting their day, finishing their day. It's just a party. It's like the world's biggest cocktail party.
Let me get this straight. I have a few thousand followers on Twitter. You got 4 million.
No.
No, I'm joking.
I wish.
How many do you have?
Close to 500,000 now.
But I want to understand that in all seriousness.
Yes.
How do you get that?
Well, you start at 0, like everybody else.
Yeah, but how do all of a sudden, did you get this massive jump right away?
Well, it's been almost 6 years now. So no, it went from like, I mean, I remember 210 followers. I remember 10,000 followers. I remember those kind of milestones.
But what kicked in?
I think because the idea of a brand having a human personality on Twitter.
Donna Karan. Were
Donna
you the brand,
Karan,
or was Donna Karan?
Donna Karan is the brand, period, end of report. She is the voice of the company. But Twitter is this small world where we decided to take the idea of a PR girl. It was fully inspired by Gossip Girl, by the way. We decided to take this idea, yes.
Love it.
That's the sketch. And it was a fake character. It was supposed to be a sketch, just like that. But when I started to tweet, I didn't know that people were gonna like respond. I thought I was just pushing content out because I had never done it. So it is really the voice on Twitter. Anything DKNY PR Girl is pretty much a social media vehicle for us. It is certainly not the voice of the company. It is the voice on Twitter.
But are you a character or are you?
I was a character initially. It was fake. So we would say, okay, what does she do? She lives downtown. She does yoga.
Right.
She drinks green tea. I don't do those things. But when I started to really understand that people were going to respond, and on Saturday when I'm in the supermarket with my kids,
Right.
am I downtown doing yoga or am I in the supermarket with my kids? So it became this really hard situation where I kind of felt schizophrenic. And I didn't want to lie and be disingenuous because at that point, people start to realize you're the same person that they're speaking to every day. So I started to just tweet my life, not my kids and my husband, but my life.
Professionally.
Professional and outside the office. And just not tell anyone who I was. So for 2 years, I did that, and I would just make sure that no one knew what I was wearing to an event so that they couldn't identify me. And and things like that. And then, so it worked, and people start to get curious.
Yeah, well, they're curious when you tweet that you lost the dresses for the Oscars, and then what happens?
Well, I like to be transparent. So I like to share not just like all the amazing things we do, but also when things get messed up. And things get messed up all the time. So those dresses just didn't show up at LAX for whatever reason. And
Out in Los Angeles?
In Los Angeles. And, there were 2 custom gorgeous gowns that were just MIA. And, I was, of course, picturing flight attendants wearing these like $25,000 Donna Karan Atelier gowns to the plane, get on the plane. So I tweeted it because that was what was happening in my life at that moment.
What was the reaction?
People are very used to me kind of having these dramatic moments of things going wrong. So of course people are like, oh my God, are you gonna find them? What's gonna happen? And it's sort of like this soap opera kind of view into the world of Donna Karan. And then, Page 6 picks it up, and then it goes into Russia and Greece. And it wasn't even that great of a story. It was kind of just like, I think, a slow news day, honestly.
But it's good stuff. By the way, did you tweet about doing this show?
I did this morning. You didn't respond.
Not.
I did too.
Did someone respond first? Oh,
yes,
Raquel,
Kara.
thanks for
Kara
thank
did.
you for responding.
Yes.
Bring some people, tell them to say follow Steve Adubato on public television.
That doesn't work.
What do you mean it doesn't work?
You can't tell people to follow.
Tell them. I'm sorry.
You know how it is. You put out good content, and they will follow.
See, I just like to make it easier. I want your friends to be my friend. Never mind. The new book. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's due out spring 2015. Hopefully, it'll be a guide to young people everywhere for their professional life. I don't have a title yet.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What I mean?
You don't have a title, but you're gonna have a cool title.
I hope I have a cool title.
And is it an advice book?
It's a career advice book, yes. Based on my career, so there's really juicy stories in there.
Are you going to say that you did it, do it my way, find your own way? What?
I'm going to say I did it wrong here, don't do that. I'm going to say I did this well, do this. I'm going to say somebody else did it really well, follow what they did. So it's a mix of advice.
You have made, people waste a lot of time on social media. You have made it work for you. It's been smart business, but you also seem to be having a lot of fun with it.
It is really fun.
Aliza Licht.
Yes.
You are the DKNY PR girl, and you're very successful, and you love your life, and you love your work, and it doesn't get better than that. And you're with us on public television.
I'm very
fortunate
and appreciative.
Good stuff.
Thank you so much,
Thank you very
Steve.
much. That was great.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Virtua, NJIT, New Jersey Natural Gas, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, TD Bank, and by the New Jersey Education Association. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.